You hatch into silence. No warmth wrapping around you. No heartbeat nearby. No soft rumble of a mother's voice. Just cold air and the faint smell of something wrong. You crack through your shell and tumble onto hard ground, blinking at a world that already took everything from you before you even opened your eyes. Your mother is dead. She died protecting you from something bigger, something hungrier, something that wanted to eat you before you were even born. You don't know this yet. You don't understand why the large shape lying next to your nest isn't moving. You crawl toward it, calling out in tiny squeaks that echo off the cave walls. Nothing answers. You press your face against her side, searching for warmth that isn't there anymore. Her body is cold, her eyes are empty, and somewhere deep in your newly formed brain, something breaks that will never fully heal. Welcome to existence. You're a Cubone now, and trust me, it only gets worse from here. Skip forward 3 days. You haven't eaten. You've been lying next to your mother's body, waiting for her to wake up, making small sounds that grow weaker each hour. Other Pokemon have started circling the cave entrance. A Rattata peers in, sniffing the air. It smells death. It smells opportunity. It takes one step inside, then another. You don't understand what's happening, but some instinct fires in your tiny body. You scramble behind a rock and watch as the Rattata approaches your mother's corpse. Then another arrives. Then 3 more. They start feeding. You watch from behind the rock as they tear into the only source of love you ever knew. The sounds are wet and horrible, and they don't stop for hours. You can't look away. You can't close your ears. All you can do is sit there, shaking, while nature does what nature does. By the time they leave, there's not much left. Just bones and scraps, and one thing they didn't touch because it was too hard to chew through. Her skull. It sits there in the middle of the cave, empty eye sockets staring at you like she's still watching. You don't know why you do it. Some Pokemon inherit moves from their parents. You inherited trauma. You crawl out from behind the rock and approach the skull slowly. It's bigger than your entire body. It smells like her, underneath all the death. You press your face against it and start crying, and you don't stop crying for 6 hours straight. When you finally run out of tears, you do the only thing that makes sense to your broken little mind. You climb inside. The skull is too big for you. It covers your entire head and most of your torso. You can barely see through the eye holes. It's dark and cramped, and it smells like decay. But for the first time since you hatched, you feel something close to safe. This is your mother now. This is all you have left of her. And you will wear her remains on your head for the rest of your life because taking it off would mean admitting she's really gone. Congratulations. You just equipped your first armor piece. The stat bonuses are +10 defense and +500 psychological damage. Skip forward 2 weeks, you figured out eating. Mostly. The cave has insects that crawl through the cracks in the walls, and if you're fast enough, you can catch them with your tiny claws. You've eaten approximately 40 bugs. You've thrown up approximately 38 of them because your body doesn't know how to digest anything yet. But 2 stayed down, and that's enough to keep you alive. Barely. The skull has become part of you now. You've stopped trying to take it off. Partly because it feels wrong, but mostly because it's actually fused to your head at this point. Your skin has grown around the edges. Your eyes have adjusted to seeing through the holes. When you look at your reflection in puddles of water, you don't see yourself anymore. You see a monster wearing your mother's face. And somehow, that's better than seeing the scared, alone, pathetic creature underneath. You've also found something else in the cave. A bone. It's long and thick and heavy. Probably a femur from some Pokemon that died here, long before you hatched. You picked it up because it felt familiar. It felt like holding something that matters. You don't know how to use it yet, but you carry it everywhere, dragging it behind you through the dirt because it's too heavy to lift properly. This is your weapon now. This is your identity. Skull on head, bone in hand, emptiness in heart. The Cubone starter kit is complete. Skip forward 1 month. You've left the cave because the food ran out and staying meant starving. The outside world is bright and loud and terrifying. Every sound makes you flinch. Every shadow makes you freeze. You walk through tall grass with your bone club dragging behind you, expecting death around every corner. And death does come. Just not for you. Not yet. You watch a Pidgey swoop down and grab a caterpie from a branch. You watch a Eakins swallow a Rattata whole. You watch a Spearow fight another Spearow over a berry until one of them stops moving. Nature is a content war, and everyone is trying to hit their daily upload quota of violence. You realize very quickly that you're at the bottom of the food chain. You're small, you're slow, you're wearing a skull that's too heavy for your neck, and your only weapon is a bone you can barely lift. But you have one advantage that the other prey Pokemon don't. You're already dead inside. Fear requires hope. Fear requires something to lose. You lost everything before you even started. So when a Sandshrew approaches you with hunger in its eyes, you don't run. You don't hide. You just stand there, staring at it through your mother's empty eye sockets, and wait. The Sandshrew hesitates. Something about you is wrong. Something about the way you're standing there, motionless, empty, radiates an energy that predators don't like. It circles you once, sniffs the air, and leaves. It decided you weren't worth the trouble. Or maybe it sensed that eating you would mean consuming something so fundamentally broken that it would poison anything that touched it. Either way, you discovered your passive ability. Depression Aura, minus 50% enemy aggression. It's not much, but it's something. Skip forward 3 months. You've gotten stronger. Not because you trained or leveled up or found a rare candy somewhere. You got stronger because starvation has a way of teaching you how to hunt. You've learned that Rattata are slower than they look. You've learned that Caterpie can't defend themselves once you flip them on their backs. You've learned that your bone club, while heavy, makes a very satisfying sound when it connects with something soft. Your first real kill was a Weedle. It was just sitting there on a leaf, minding its own business. Existing in that simple way that Pokemon who haven't lost everything exist. You walked up to it, raised your bone club with both hands, and brought it down as hard as you could. The Weedle didn't even see it coming. 1 second it was alive. The next second it was paste. You stood there for a long time afterward, looking at what you had done. Feeling something that might have been satisfaction, or might have been emptiness, or might have been both at the same time. You ate the Weedle. It tasted terrible. But it was the first meal in weeks that your body actually kept down. And that night you slept without crying for the first time since you hatched. The skull is lighter now. Or maybe you're just stronger. You can hold it upright without your neck aching. You can see clearly through the eye holes. When you catch your reflection now, you don't flinch anymore. You've accepted what you are. You're the thing that wears its dead mother's face. You're the thing that kills with a bone club. You're the thing that other Pokemon avoid, not because you're strong, but because you're disturbing. Skip forward 6 months. You've settled into a routine. Wake up, hunt, eat, find water. Avoid anything bigger than you. Sleep. Repeat. It's not a life, it's a loading screen between deaths. But it's sustainable, and sustainable is all you can ask for when you're a traumatized ground type, with no evolutionary pressure to do anything except survive. Then you find the others. You're walking through a rocky area when you hear it. A sound you've never heard before, but somehow recognize immediately. Crying. Not Rattata squeaking or Pidgey calling. Crying. The specific, heartbroken wail of something that lost everything and doesn't know how to process it. You follow the sound to a small clearing where 6 other Cubone are sitting in a circle. They're all wearing skulls. They're all carrying bones. They're all crying at the exact same frequency. A chorus of grief that echoes off the rocks like the saddest concert in existence. You stand at the edge of the clearing and watch them, and for the first time in your life, you feel something that might be connection. One of them notices you. It stops crying long enough to make eye contact through its skull's eye holes. You make eye contact back. Something passes between you. Not friendship, not love, just recognition. Just the understanding that you're both broken in the exact same way, and that being broken together is slightly less awful than being broken alone. You join the circle. You start crying too. And for 8 hours, you and 6 other orphans sit there and mourn your mothers together, bonding through shared trauma like the world's most depressing support group. Skip forward to that night. The moon comes out, full and bright and hanging in the sky like it's mocking you. Every Cubone in the circle looks up at it at the same time, and the crying intensifies. You don't understand why at first. Then you look at the moon closely, really closely, and you see it. The shape. The round white face with the dark spots that look like eyes. It looks like a skull. It looks like her. Every night, for the rest of your life, you will look at the moon and see your mother's face. Every night, you will cry because she's so far away and you can't reach her. Every night, the moon will remind you of everything you lost and everything you'll never have. This isn't poetic. This isn't beautiful. This is a curse designed by whatever sick game designer created this universe. The other Cubone feel the same way. You can tell by the way they wail at the sky, reaching up with their tiny arms like they're trying to grab the moon and pull it down. You join them. You reach up too. The moon doesn't come any closer. It never does. But you keep reaching anyway because what else are you going to do? Skip forward 1 year. You're not small anymore. The skull fits your head properly now. The bone club feels light in your hands. You can swing it hard enough to crack rocks. You've learned moves that actual trainers would pay money to teach their Pokemon. Bone club, headbutt, bone meringue, where you throw your weapon and it comes back like a boomerang, which makes zero sense from a physics perspective, but works anyway because this world runs on feelings, not science. You've also learned something else, something darker. You've learned that your species has a reputation. Cubone, the lonely Pokemon. Cubone, the one that cries for its mother. Cubone, the tragedy that walks. Other Pokemon pity you. They look at you with those sad eyes and keep their distance. Not because they're scared, but because your sadness is contagious and they don't want to catch it. Trainers are different. Trainers see you and think opportunity. They see a Pokemon with high attack stats and a tragic backstory that would look great in a documentary. They throw Pokeballs at you from a distance, trying to capture you without having to fight. Most of them miss, some of them hit. You've broken out of 6 Pokeballs so far, shattering them from the inside through sheer force of not wanting to belong to anyone who sees you as a collectible instead of a living thing with feelings. One trainer got close. He approached you slowly, speaking in a soft voice, offering food. You almost trusted him. You almost let him touch you. Then he reached for the skull, curious about what you looked like underneath, and you broke 3 of his fingers with your bone club before he could even scream. Nobody touches the skull. Nobody. The skull is all you have left. The skull is non-negotiable. Skip forward to the moment everything changes. You're alone in a canyon, hunting for food when you feel it. A pressure building inside your body. A heat spreading through your limbs. Your vision blurs. Your heart races. You felt this before, in small doses, after particularly intense battles. But this time it's different. This time it's overwhelming. This time you can't fight it. You're evolving. The light starts at your feet and works its way up. Your body stretches, your bones grow, your muscles expand. The skull that's been part of you for so long starts fusing even deeper, becoming less of a mask and more of an actual head. The process takes 30 seconds and feels like 30 years. When it's over, you look down at your hands and don't recognize them. They're bigger, stronger. The bone club that used to take effort to swing now feels like a twig. You find a pool of water and look at your reflection. The creature staring back at you isn't a Cubone anymore. It's taller, meaner, harder. The skull is permanent now, fused completely with your face. You couldn't take it off if you wanted to. Your mother's bones are your bones now. Her death is your identity. You've evolved from a grieving child into a grieving adult, which is essentially the same thing, except now you can deal more damage. You're a Marowak. The Bone Keeper Pokemon. The final form of sadness. Skip forward 6 months into your new body. Being a Marowak is better in some ways and worse in others. You're stronger, so hunting is easier. You're faster, so running is more effective. You're scarier, so fewer Pokemon bother you. But the loneliness is the same. The grief is the same. The moon still looks like your mother and you still cry when you see it. Evolution changed your stats, but it didn't change your soul. You've noticed something else too. Something that makes your blood run cold whenever you think about it too hard. Female Marowak have started looking at you differently. They approach you with a specific energy, a biological intention that you recognize, even though no one taught you what it meant. They want to reproduce. They want to make eggs. They want to create new Cubone, who will hatch alone and watch their mothers die, and wear their skulls and cry at the moon forever. This is the cycle. This is the curse. Marowak mothers are programmed to die protecting their children. It's in your species' DNA. Every Cubone has a dead mother because every Marowak mother dies. And if you reproduce, if you give in to the biological pressure, you'll either create an orphan or become one of the protective mothers yourself, sacrificing your life for an egg that will grow up to be just as broken as you. There's no winning this game. The only options are, don't play or lose. Skip forward to the moment you decide. A female Marowak has been following you for days. She's persistent, driven by instincts that neither of you can fully control. You've been avoiding her, sleeping in different caves, hunting in different areas. But she always finds you. Biology always finds you. One night, she corners you in a canyon. The moon is full. Your mother's face is watching from the sky. The female Marowak approaches slowly, making sounds that your body understands, even if your mind resists. You feel the pull. You feel the urge to continue the species, to create life, to do what every living thing is supposed to do. You look up at the moon. You think about your mother. You think about the skull on your head, the bone in your hand, the years of crying and fighting and surviving just to end up here, at this moment, with this choice. You could give in. You could reproduce. You could create a new Cubone who will suffer the exact same way you suffered, and call it the miracle of life. Or you could walk away. You could break the cycle. You could be the Marowak who refuses to make more orphans, who chooses extinction over multiplication, who says no to a universe that designed your entire species around trauma. The female Marowak waits for your answer. The moon watches. The canyon is silent except for the wind. You turn around and walk away. Not because you're strong, not because you're heroic, but because you've lived the life of a Cubone and you wouldn't wish it on anyone, especially not your own child. The female makes a confused sound behind you. She doesn't understand. She can't understand. Biology doesn't have a conscience, but you do. And your conscience says that some cycles deserve to be broken, even if breaking them means being alone forever. Skip forward to the end. You're old now. Marowak don't live long, but you've outlasted most of your kind by refusing to fight battles you didn't need to fight and avoiding trainers who wanted to use you as a tool. Your bone club is worn smooth from decades of use. Your skull is cracked in 3 places. Your body aches in ways that rest doesn't fix anymore. You find a quiet cave similar to the one where you hatched, and lie down facing the entrance. The moon is visible from here, full and bright and shaped like the mother you never really knew. You look at it one last time, feeling the familiar sting of tears that never fully dried, and you realize something that might be peace, or might be exhaustion, or might be both. You survived, not happily, not triumphantly. But you survived a life that was designed from the start to break you, and you made it to the end on your own terms. You didn't become a trainer's trophy. You didn't create more orphans to continue the suffering. You just existed, day after day, carrying your mother's skull and your father's absence and your species' curse, until your body finally ran out of reasons to keep going. The last thing you see is the moon. The last thing you feel is the weight of the skull that's been part of you for so long you forgot it wasn't always there. The last thing you hear is silence, perfect silence, the same silence that greeted you when you hatched into this world alone and afraid. You close your eyes, your heart slows, and somewhere in the distance, a newly hatched Cubone cracks through its shell and realizes that something is wrong. The cycle continues. It always continues. But at least you didn't add to it. At least your chapter of the tragedy ended with you. And maybe that's the only victory a Cubone can ever really achieve. Not happiness, not love. Just the small, sad dignity of refusing to pass the pain forward. You died alone, but you lived on your own terms. And in a world designed to make you suffer, that might be the closest thing to winning there is.